Today we'll be having a look at the Rebel Leader He-Man from Master Universe Classics. So let's check it out. So this is the William Stout Collection Rebel Leader He-Man from the Master Universe Classics line. So these were done by Super 7, not Mattel. And which, Mattel has done their own movie figures in the Masterverse line. Unfortunately, I don't have any of those yet. But I do have these Classics ones. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Rebel Leader He-Man. So let's, without further ado, let's get into the packaging first. So like most Master Universe Classics figures, the Rebel Leader He-Man comes in the standard mailer box there. As you can see, it has Master Universe Classics on the front of it. It also says Rebel Leader He-Man. And you can see it says Super 7 bomb instead of Mattel. Ages 14 and up. So not a whole lot on these mailer boxes. There's nothing on the bottom or the top, but there's some stuff on the back there. And it's kind of a shame they don't do this with the Masterverse. Well, Masterverse is more like a retail line, so that's probably why they don't do that. So move it out of the baby box. So here is the packaging itself. His plastic prison he was in, and as you can see, it has the Master Universe Classics logo there at the top, and it says Rebel Leader He-Man there at the bottom. Heroic Defender of Eternia. So it's got like the lightning bolts there too. So standard colors too. If you remember, Anti-Eternia He-Man was actually different, so that's kind of cool. There's a cool portrait of the live-action movie He-Man there on the back. Some other figures are also available, and there's also some Filmation figures they did too. So there's also a bio. They quit putting bios on there, when Mattel did on the later figures. But so you can see it says Super 7 down at the bottom. But like I said, my Anti-Eternia He-Man review, that's probably one they should have put a bio on. So that's pretty much it for the packaging. So starting with his accessories, the first one we'll start with is this very, very tiny little dagger right here, as you can see. And as you can see, it's got like a painted silver blade, and it's got a black handle with some gold paint on the end there. And so as you can see, not a whole lot of sculpted detail. I mean, this is a very, very tiny little dagger. So He-Man does have a storage on his leg there, where you can actually stick this in. Now this is very loose, as you can see. So I would recommend, if you're transporting these figures to another house or something, I would recommend putting these accessories like this, especially this one, in a plastic bag or something, so you won't drop this out loose, because you could drop this out very, very easy. As you can see, it does not have any kind of resistance whatsoever. It comes with a second dagger that's actually a little bit bigger. Now this one, as you can see, is a lot cooler than the first one. As you can see, it's got a little more details on it. It's got a silver blade. It's got a gold handguard and a gold hilt there at the bottom, and it's also got a black handle. But what's cool about this dagger is it's shaped like the original Power Sword. So like for example, if I bring in Wundar's Power Sword here, as you can see, the similarities. They're shaped very similar, so that's actually pretty cool. So He-Man does sport a sheath on the side of his belt there. You can store the knife when he is not using it, which is pretty cool. So he comes with a blaster, which is kind of unusual for He-Man. Most He-Man is not depicted as being a gun wielder, but in the '87 live action movie, he did actually utilize a blaster. So that's pretty cool here. In which Man at Arms and Taylor did use the very same blaster too, I believe. But as you can see, it looks like a flat black color, not a whole lot of paint details on there. But as you can see, there's got a barrel, like a scope on it. So very sci-fi, futuristic, like space kind of blaster. You can see there's a trigger guard, and he can somewhat hold this in his left hand, as you can see, but he doesn't get like a really good grip on it. But you can get him to grip it through the trigger guard there and stuff, so he can hold it. Now He-Man does sport a holster on his side there. As you can see, you can stick the blaster in when it's not in use. It's pretty good snug fit in there. Now sometimes the handle, like at the end of the movie, was actually facing this way, but I think it goes in this way. It's supposed to go in on this figure. As you see, it's got a cutout there for the handle. But either way, it's still pretty cool. Last but not least, we have He-Man's Power Sword, which this is the movie version of the Power Sword. You can see. So if I again bring in sword from Wundar here, as you can see, very different looking Power Sword in the movie than what was it like in the mini comics, in the Filmation series. The Power Swords had very different looks throughout the He-Man series, such as 2000X had a very different looking power sword than which unfortunately I don't have one of those right at the moment to compare with. But as you can see, it's pretty cool. We have so many different iterations of He-Man's power sword. So like I said, this is the movie one. It's got a silver blade there, as you can see. It's got kind of like a bronze color on the hand guard. It's got a black wrap around the handle, and also a bronze pommel there, as you can see. But, this one's got some weird paint mishaps right here on the back here, which kind of looks like it's bubbled up in a few places. But on the other side of the blade, it looks pretty good. So He-Man can hold his sword there, as you can see, which looks pretty cool. As you can see, that's usually how I display him, is holding his power sword. But he can actually store, the sword right here on the back. There's a sheath, as you can see, like in the movie. Stick it in there. Now there's like a loop here at the top to put around the handle, which is kind of hard for me to get mine around it. As you can see, it went around, but now it prevents his head from articulating. So, like I said, I usually display him with him holding it. Okay, so for articulation, Rebel Leader He-Man has a standard articulation for classics figures. He's got a ball joint at the head, a hinge and a swivel there at the shoulder, a hinge at the tricep, a hinge at the, his elbow there. He's got a hinge at the wrist, which is kind of unusual for classics figures. Like the older ones here, I mean, $1 here, for example, as you can see, had just a swivel at the wrist. So they used to have new wrist articulation, which is actually pretty cool. I wish he would have had a swivel this way, so you could got a proper holding off the sword pose. But he's got a crunch at the waist there, or I mean at the abs. He's got a swivel at the waist. He's got a swivel on the hinge there at the thigh. He's got a bend at the knee, and a ankle pivot. No boot articulation, which is kind of hindered by his armor there. So let's take a look at the sculpt, design, and color of Rebel Leader He-Man, starting with his head. So as you can see, this is based off the '87 live-action movie, which He-Man was played by Dolph Lundgren. Which this has a pretty good likeness to Dolph Lundgren. You can see it's got the very '80s like hair he had in that movie too. It's like a blonde color too. You see he's got blue eyes, and now this figure does have an alternate head, so I'll show you that. So it comes with this alternate head here, as you can see, which I don't know what the point of this head actually is. When I watched Pixel Dan's review on this, when these first came out, he said he thought it might be like more like a toyetic, like He-Man, in case you don't want like Dolph's head or something. Or it could be like maybe like concept art or something, or maybe it's based off a stunt double or something. I really don't know what the point of this head is exactly. Now, as you can see, it is a different head, so the same hair piece, so the hair is actually bigger than the head is, as you can see. But as you can see, it's got the same blue eyes and everything as the Dolph Lundgren head. So this is just not Dolph Lundgren. But so he will definitely be displayed with this head right here. This is much better looking than that other head. But going down, this figure uses this what appears to be the standard male buck for the classics line. So now the arms are different though, as you can see. He's got the arm band and stuff like he had in the movie, and the lower arms are different too. So if I bring in $1 here, as you can see, it looks like the same buck piece right here, but the arms are different. So he's got minus the wrist brace on this arm and the armband up there, and then you got the armband up here, and more like the movie wrist bracer there, as you can see. But now somebody who's a customizer, you could probably take and probably make because this armor does not appear to be removable, so you wouldn't be able to recreate no armor scenes from the movie unless you either took and popped the arms off of these and swapped them out and made like a custom version of this, or you could just cut the armor, I guess. But which I wouldn't do that because I think it looks better with the armor on anyways. But as you can see, he's got the movie armor. As you can see, it's got the gold shoulder pads and the straps that come down, kind of like the classic He-Man with the straps here, but he just got shoulder pads. He's got a red cape, as you can see, which is pretty cool. And as a fabric cape, the Skeletors they made this line have a plastic cape. This one's fabric, so that's pretty cool. And you see the web gear, like the straps of his armor continue on the back there. You see there's a strap for his belt for the gun holster and the knife sheath. There's a sword sheath on his back there, as you can see. And you see he's got a belt buckle there where his belt comes to. You see he has a different waist piece. So I'll bring in $1 again, as you can see. Is a different waist piece. This is more based off of the vintage toys, and this is the movie version, so a little bit different there. So you see the legs, he's got the straps for his gun holster and the knife sheath to go around his legs there. So it looks like they've kind of adapted the standard classic legs. They kind of retooled them a little bit there, as you can see. Now his boots are a lot different. So once again, if I bring in $1, you can see the boots are a lot different. These are the more like classic toy boots, and these are the movie ones here. Now the way they've done these movie ones, the classics, most classics had a swivel with the boot cut articulation. Now these, the way they've done is got the straps around his legs there, so they don't have the boot cut, so that kind of hinders articulation. But I mean, I really don't mind. It makes it more movie accurate. And see, he's got like leather boots on, which looks pretty cool. Now the boots go around the back there. See that there's gold armor that goes around the front of his leg there. The boot kind of comes up there too. As you can see, it's kind of got kind of like a little bit of a wash there, make it look like a kind of pure leathery, which looks pretty cool. It's got like some stitching there and stuff, as you can see. Here is this new classic Rebel Leader movie He-Man compared to the vintage action figure. And you see, there's quite a bit of difference between the movie design and the vintage toys, like filmation and stuff like that. As you can see, pretty different because now He-Man, they could have probably made him look a little more like the vintage toy there, or like in the cartoon. That'd been a little bit easier to do than Skeletor. But I kind of like the way they done He-Man in the movie though. Kind of he's different. He doesn't look like other He-Man. He kind of stands out, so that's actually kind of cool. So here he is compared to the vintage Gwildor figure from the vintage line. Now they did make Gwildor in Classics. Unfortunately, I don't have that one yet, but here's the vintage one I do have, and you see these actually don't. They actually scale pretty good together. If you don't have the Classics one, you could put this vintage one beside your movie He-Man, and it actually scales pretty good together. Because Gwildor was short in the movie, so it actually don't look too bad. So here he is compared to two other standard Classics figures I have that aren't movie based. I have. Unfortunately, I don't have the normal He-Man yet, but I do plan on maybe trying to get those soon. Classic figures are kind of expensive right now. That's why I don't have a whole lot of them. But so as you can see here, I got Anti-Eternia He-Man on one side, and I got $1 on the other side there holding his loaf of bread. And as you can see, this movie He-Man looks like he stands maybe a little bit taller than both of those. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just he's got a different hairpiece that kind of sticks up a little bit more than the others, maybe. But and so you can see the difference between the power swords there. The movie one and the classic looking one there. So pretty cool. And last but not least, here he is compared to two other William Stout collection figures I have. I have the Dark Despot Skeletor, and recently I acquired the Gold God Skeletor, as you can see. Now, both of those are really cool, and I do plan on reviewing both of those. So stay tuned for that, and probably pretty soon too. So what do I think of this figure overall? I really really like this figure. And I actually enjoy the movie that this figure comes from. It's probably one of my favorites, and I don't really have anything negative to say about this figure. I just really like it. Now, I guess I wish the dagger in his boot was a little bit tighter because it's easy to drop it and lose it, and so that's kind of aggravating. But other than that, like I said, not really much I can really negatively complain about this figure. So give me a thumbs up, help me a lot, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for the other two William Stout collection figures. So yeah, till next time.